Okay, pre-algebra unit 6, so 806, measurement. Problem number 1, an intercepted arc is the same measure of the inscribed angle it was created from. True or false? Let's look at this image right here. This image shows, here's your arc. This is what they were calling the intercepted arc. This is a central angle. This is an inscribed angle. Now, as you can see, the red, the central angle, is the same as the arc, but the green, the inscribed angle, is half of the arc. So for that question to be true, it should say central angle, not inscribed angle. So remember that. I think that comes up later on in the test. Inscribed angles are half of their arcs. So this is false, okay? If it were to be true, then they should have put central. This would have made it true, but they didn't, so that's why it's false. Okay, problem number 2, a concave polygon looks like it collapsed or has indentations. Okay, here are some images of concave polygons. See how they look like they've collapsed? I always say they look like they've caved in. And these are convex polygons. So yes, the concave polygon looks like it collapsed or has indentations. So this is true. Okay, problem number 3. You can use the triangle inequality theorem to determine if side lengths create a right triangle. True or false? Here's the triangle inequality theorem, and it states, the sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. So all this is saying is that in order for shape to be a triangle, or in order for three sides to be a triangle, any group of two sides has to be greater than the other side. A plus B has to be greater than C. If it's not, it would look like something like this. See, this side is too short to reach the other side. That's all the triangle inequality theorem states, is that any two sides must be greater than the third side. It doesn't have anything to do with right triangles. For you to prove a triangle is a right triangle, you're going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You square the two legs, and they should equal the hypotenuse squared. So it's a long way of saying that this is false. In order for it to be true, they should have said Pythagorean theorem. Okay, problem number 4. A square is not always a parallelogram. True or false? Well, according to this, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. So as long as your shape has two pairs of opposite sides being parallel, it can be a parallelogram. So the rhombus is a parallelogram, the rectangle is a parallelogram, and the square is a parallelogram. So this is also false. It should say a square is always a parallelogram. Okay, problem number 5. A decagon has 9 sides. True or false? Here we have some very common shapes. 9 sides is called nonagon. 10 sides is decagon. I think you're going to need to know this one for the test. So remember this one. Dodecagon is 12 sides. So this is false. It should either say nonagon has 9 sides or a decagon has 10 sides. Okay, problem number 6. Determine if the side lengths 6, 6, and 11 form a triangle. if it is a triangle, classify it by its sides. Okay, going back to this, to identify if it is a triangle, we have to use the triangle inequality theorem and add up all couples and see if they're greater than the third side. So 6 plus 6 is greater than 11, but if we were to add 6 and 11, that is not greater than 6. Wait a minute, I was wrong here. 6 plus 11 is greater than 6. And 11 plus 6 is greater than 6 also. So since this is all true, these do form a triangle. Now we have to decide what kind of triangle do they form. Here are different kinds of triangles. You have an acute triangle where all the angles are less than 90. A right triangle will have a square showing you where the 90-degree angle is. An obtuse triangle will have one angle that's greater than 90. Equilateral triangles, all the sides are the same length. Isosceles triangle, 2 of the sides are the same length. And scalene triangle, none of the sides are equal. We have 2 sides that are equal, 6 to 6. So that means we have an isosceles triangle here. Okay, problem number 7. What is the measure of x? This polygon has 4 sides. So its total angle measure, if you add up all 4 angles, it should total 360 degrees. This is something good to remember. If this shape has 3 sides, the total angle measure is 180. If it has 4 sides, 360, 5 sides, 540. And as you can see how I'm getting the next number, it's just adding. You just add 180. 180 plus 180 is 360. 360 plus 180 is 540. 540 plus 180 is 720. So every time you add a side, you add 180 to get the total angle measure. So we can write this equation where we add up all the angles. Okay, so we need to combine like terms. These are like terms together. These are 216. These are like terms together. They make 2x plus 2x is 4x. Okay, now we're down to 2 steps. First, we're going to subtract 216 from both sides. That cancels out. This becomes, oh, what is that? This becomes 144. So we still have 4x equals 144. And then we're going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 144 divided by 4 is 36. So x equals 36. Okay, problem number 8. What is the measure of the hypotenuse? This right here says to you right off the bat, this is a right triangle. So you need to use the Pythagorean theorem to help you find missing pieces. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember this. You must memorize this for the test. This would be your A. Any one of the legs. These are the legs. They're the shorter sides. A, B. It doesn't matter. This could be B. This could be A. They're the legs. It doesn't matter which one you choose. So we're going to go 5 squared plus 12 squared equals x squared. 5 squared is 25. 12 squared is 144. add these together and you get 169. And then here's the last step of the Pythagorean theorem. You use the square root symbol. And the square root of 169, you can just use your calculator, 169, and the square root symbol is right here, and you get 13. So the square root of 169 is 13, and the square root of x squared is just x. Okay, problem number 9. What is the measure of x? These two angles here form something called a straight angle, which is 180 degrees. So these two are supplementary angles. If you add them together, you can get 180 degrees. Solve for x. 4 plus 1 is 5x. We need to divide both sides by 5. 180 divided by 5 is 36. Okay, problem number 10. What is the measure of the smallest angle? So there's 3 angles here. We have to find the measure of each one. In order to do that, we need to know what is the total angle measure. Do you remember what is the total angle measure if a polygon has 3 sides? If you said 180, you were correct. So we write this equation where we add up all these angles and they total 180. We need to combine like terms. This, and this are all like terms. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7. And then we have negative 11 and 9. These are like terms. We need to combine them. That becomes negative 2. We still have 180. We're going to get rid of this 2 by adding 2 to both sides. We still have 7x. We need to get rid of the 7, so we're going to divide both sides by 7. $182 divided by 7 is 26. So as you can see, there's no 26 here. We have to put this 26 where the x's are and solve for each angle. So here, this is the easiest one. It's 2 times 26, which is 52. This is 3 times 26 minus 11. 3 times 26 equals 78. You need to hit equals between each operation. Minus 11 is 67. And then this one's 2 times 26 plus 9. 2 times 26 is 52. Plus 9 is going to be 61. We have this angle 61, 67, and 52. So the smallest angle is 52. Okay, problem number 11. Which set of angles is an example of alternate interior? These are interior angles because they're in between the 2 lines. And then these are exterior because they are outside of the 2 lines. Okay? And then alternate would be, these are alternate, 6 and 3. And 2 and 7 are alternate because they're on opposite sides of the line. So 2 and 7 are our alternate interior angles. Okay, problem number 12. Which set of side lengths will form a right triangle? right triangle, you're going to have to use this Pythagorean theorem. Did you memorize it? If you said a squared plus b squared equals c squared, you're right. So we got to take each set of these and work them in this formula. So it'll look something like this. 6 squared plus 8 squared equals 11 squared. Six squared is 36, 8 squared is 64, 11 squared is 121. When you add these, you get 100, which is not equal to 121, so it can't be this one. Okay, on this one I knew what 10 times 10 is, but I didn't know what 24 squared is, so making sure you know how to find a squared. You just multiply a number by itself. 24 times 24 is 576. 25 times 25 is 625. If you add these together, you get 676, which is not equal to 625. So it's not this one. Okay, over here I knew that 7 times 7 is 49, 24 times 24 is 576, but I didn't know what 26 squared is, so I'm going to multiply it by itself and get 676. And then 49 plus 576 is 625, which is not equal to 676. So it's not this one. Okay, on this one, 8 times 8 is 64, 15 times 15 is 225, 17 times 17 is 289. Add these numbers up, 64 plus 225, and you get 289. Finally, we found the one that is equal. Don't forget to memorize. Okay, problem number 13. The sum of the interior angles of a hexagon is blank. This is a formula that also needs to be memorized. If you want to find the sum of interior angles, n is going to be whatever shape you're looking at. A hexagon has 6 sides, so n is going to be 6. And then you just subtract 2, and you're going to multiply by 180. 4 times 180 is 720. So don't forget to memorize this. Okay, problem number 14. If an 8-foot silo casts a 6-foot shadow, what is the approximate measure from the tip of the shadow to the top of the silo? So they're saying approximate because, you know, we're not going to get exact measurements. So from here to here, we know is 8 feet. We're making a right angle right here. Remember what to do with a right triangle? You got to use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, remember this should be memorized. Okay, A and B are the legs. 8 is a leg and 6 is a leg. So we're going to go 8 squared plus 6 squared. 64 plus 36. 100. Last step. The last step of the Pythagorean theorem is to find the square root. Remember how to find the square root? You want to use this symbol right here. 10. This is 10, and the square root of c squared is just c. Okay, problem number 15. If the measure of a central angle is 76 degrees, then what is the measure of the arc it creates? Let's look back at this picture. The red is the central angle. The arc it creates is blue. They are the same. So, if the central angle is 76, then the arc will also be 76. Okay, problem number 16. Which regular polygon would have each of its interior angles measure 140 degrees? We're going to go back to this formula that we used on problem number 13. It's called the sum of interior angles formula. But we're going to add one more thing to it. We're going to divide it by the number of sides. Okay? So, you must memorize this one also. We also need to know how many sides. Let's refresh our memories. Nonagon has 9. Heptagon has 7, octagon has 8, and a decagon has 10 sides. Okay, so using this formula with these numbers, this is what your 4 shapes would look like. The nonagon, the heptagon, the octagon, and the decagon. 9 minus 2 is 7. 7 times 180 is 1,260. We have to divide that by 9. We get 140. There's our answer, but let's go ahead and work out the rest of these. 8 minus 2 is 6 times 180 divided by 8. 6 times 180. 1,080 divided by 8 is 135. 10 minus 2 is 8 times 180. 8 times 180 is 1440 divided by 10 is 144. And then the heptagon would be 5 times 180, which is 900. Divide that by 7, and it's a decimal answer, 128.6. So the nonagon has a regular nonagon, each angle would be 140. Heptagon, each angle would be a decimal answer. The octagon, each angle would be 135. And the decagon, each angle would be 144. So the individual angle measure 140 works for the nonagon. And don't forget to memorize this. Okay, problem number 17. What is the measure of angle 6 if these two lines are parallel and angle 7 measures 121? Well, when you have two parallel lines, they create alternate interior angles. We talked about alternate interior. On problem number 11, they're the angles inside the two lines and opposite of each other. So the alternate interior angles here would be 6 and 3, 7 and 2. So 7 is 121 and 2 is 121. Now we got to figure out what 3 and 6 are. Six and 2 have a supplementary relationship. They form a straight angle, which means it's half of a circle, which is 180 degrees. So we can say 6 and 2 equal 180 degrees. So angle 6, which is unknown, plus angle 2, which is 121, should equal 180 degrees. So to solve, all we have to do is subtract 121 from both sides. These cancel, and x equals 59. So 6 is 59. And that also means 3 is 59. We don't have to know 3 though. But now we know all 4 angles. Problem number 18. Find the measure of the larger angle. There's two angles here that make a straight angle or a supplementary angle, which is 180 degrees. So we just have to add them up. So 2x plus 7 plus 6x minus 9 should equal 180. Okay, combine the like terms. Here's your like terms here. 2x's and 6x's is 8. And then here's your other two like terms. Negative 9 plus 7 is negative 2. Okay, now we're down to 2 steps. We're going to get rid of this 2. So we do the opposite of subtract. We add 2 to both sides. Canceling that out, making this 182. We still have 8x. Finally, we're going to divide both sides by 8. 182 divided by 8 is, I've already done it on the calculator, 22.75. And as you can see, there's no 22.75 over here because this is just x. Now we have to work out each of these using 22.75. So using 22.75 in these angles would look like this. 2 times 22.75 plus 7. 6 times 22.75 minus 9. 2 times 22.75 is 45.5. Add 7 to that, and you get 52.5. Over here, 6 times 22.75 is 136.5. Minus 9 is 127.5. So the larger angle is obviously 127.5. Okay, problem number 19. Select all the names of this polygon. Okay. All of these polygons have to have 4 sides. So we got that down. We have 4 sides, right? Well, quadrilateral. So it's a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. Now, does it have 4 sides and 1 pair of parallel sides? These two, this is a pair of parallel sides. That's what the arrow means. These sides are running in the same direction. They're parallel. So yes, it has that. It's a trapezoid. Isosceles trapezoid. Does it have 4 sides? Yes. Are there one pair of parallel sides? Yes. 1 pair of equal sides? Yes. These 2 sides are equal. That's what this little line means. So it can be an isosceles trapezoid also. Parallelograms. Parallelograms have 4 sides, yes, but 2 pairs of parallel sides. We only have 1 pair of parallel sides, not 2. So it cannot be a parallelogram. And then the rest of these, the rectangle, the rhombus, and the square, they all have to have 2 pairs of parallel sides, 2 pairs of parallel sides, which this shape does not have. So it cannot be any of these. And that's not even considering all the rest. 4 right angles, no. All sides are equal length, no. All 4 right angles, all sides are equal, no. So it can only be these 3 right here. Okay, problem number 20. Select all the ways you can describe this given polygon. Regular means all the sides are equal and all the angles are equal. In this shape, yes, these are all the sides are equal, and this means that all the angles are equal. If they put the little tag on it, that means it's equal. So this is a regular polygon. Irregular is the opposite of regular, so it won't be this one. Scalene is also kind of the opposite of regular, but scalene means the sides are not equal, which we already said the sides were equal, so it's not that one. Isosceles means at least 2 sides are equal. We do have at least 2 equal sides. We have more, but at least we have 2. So this is isosceles. Equilateral means all the sides are equal, and we've already talked about that. So yes, all the sides are equal. Acute means all the angles are less than 90 degrees, and we can see that these are all small angles. I'd say they're about 60, because if this is a regular triangle, and it has to total 180 degrees, then all of these have to be 60, 60, and 60. So yes, this is an acute triangle. A right triangle, at least one 90-degree angle, which a 90-degree angle will always have this little square in the corner, so you know, and there are no squares, so it's not a right triangle. Obtuse is the opposite of acute, so since it's acute, it cannot be obtuse, where one angle is greater than 90. And then last, equiangular, meaning all the angles are equal, and we already said that, yes, all the angles are equal. So it's these. Okay, you need to take a moment to write these things down because these are things you need to memorize for the test. All right, that's it.